I'm not a huge Starbucks fan to begin with. But a couple of years ago, while I was still at NBC, they announced a new policy whereby they were going to allow anybody to come into Starbucks, even if it wasn't a paying customer, and use Starbucks and use the bathrooms and do whatever the hell they wanted in Starbucks. And for those of you who think that I didn't speak my mind while I was at NBC, go back and look at my coverage of Brett Kavanaugh and look at moments like this one where I raised on a panel of people who are maybe differently aligned ideologically the fact that this was a disaster in the making. And I went on after this clip that you're going to see, but watch. The part of this that's getting, lambasted is now you don't have to buy anything to go into the Starbucks. You don't have to buy anything to use the restroom. And so paying customers are now
and here's the issue.
Complaining.
I see the other side of it. I mean, I think some of these people don't have places to go. I've seen people sit in our local Starbucks here in New York City that are homeless, that don't have another place.
But that's not the solution, Jen.
But there are places for the homeless.
Of course it's not a solution, but it's also compassionate.
And there's a question about whether a commercial establishment
is that place.
Yeah, is that place for the paying customers who go in with their kids, and do you really want to, deal with a mass of homeless people or whoever's in there could be drug addicted? You don't know. Well, I mean, I'll get to the answer because it's been answered this week about whether people do want to deal with that. But can I just spend 1 minute on the reaction to that segment? It went totally viral. My producers pulled just a couple of headlines for you. Salon, Megyn Kelly slams Starbucks for allowing non-customers to use bathroom, and the body of the piece was not that flattering. You'll be shocked to hear. Bustle, Megyn Kelly's not happy that Starbucks will let, quote, a mass of homeless people use its bathrooms. Daily Beast, Megyn Kelly frets that the homeless could take over Starbucks. Newsweek, same, on and on it goes. And now today we get the announcement from the Starbucks CEO, Howard Schultz. They are closing 16 profitable stores, all in left-leaning cities like LA, Philly, Portland, Oregon, Washington, D.C., Seattle, and so on. Howard Schultz, the president of Starbucks, saying, America has become unsafe, and my employees in these stores feel unsafe as a result of his dumbass policy. Listen.
I don't have to spend too much time on what's going on in the country and how America has become unsafe. It has shocked me that one of the primary concerns that our retail partners have is their own personal safety. And then we heard the stories that go along with it about what happens in our bathrooms. The issue of mental illness, and the issues of homelessness, and the issues of crime.
Welcome, Howard. Come on in. The water's fine. If you just keep your eyes open, it's very clear what these stupid left-leaning woke policies are going to lead to. Closure of profitable stores. They're reversing the policy. They're not going to require this anymore. And they said, quote, the bathrooms have in large part, this is from an article writing it up, but based on what he said, devolved into dens of debauchery regularly used by vagrants and homeless to do drugs and engage in other illicit behavior. The company will now give staffers discretion to deny free access to the store's bathrooms. What do we make of this?
My first observation, Megyn, you're absolutely in agony of defeat, gal, as we do on our podcast, because like all the amazing things that you do in your career, you don't even talk about for a minute, but you remember every single time they came at you.
Yeah.
Right?
I love it.
It's so perfect. I love that. I mean, obviously you were right. I was a little shocked you didn't even get any backup from a Bush on that deal. It's like you versus the world on that
Jen is
panel.
not conservative. She's not a conservative.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. But I mean, obviously, right? I mean, that's what you were pointing out. Obviously, this is like when you don't enforce crime happens. When you let homeless people into your store, substandard stuff happens.
But for the left, and you saw it there in the clip, their solution doesn't actually have to work. It just has to be compassionate. That's the only thing they care about. And it's the same thing we're seeing with the southern border right now. Well, now that crisis of all of these migrants who've been shipped all across the country are now on the doorsteps of Mayor Adams in New York City. And now suddenly their policy of compassion has come to their front doorstep and they don't like it so much.
And I think that's the heart of the issue, is that their belief that this kind of allowing this to happen is compassionate. Allowing and enabling addiction is somehow compassionate. That's not compassionate at all. Letting people suffer through drug addiction rather than, you see it in New York City, you see in all these woke cities where they think the solution is you let the homeless do whatever they want, let them just succumb further into addiction, let them start assaulting people. That's compassion. It's completely misguided. These people need help. They don't need to be in a commercial area. Taxpayers are already paying for homeless shelters and services that can be provided to these individuals. Why should it be upon private businesses to have to carry the workload for misguided government policies from these woke people who think they're compassionate when they're just enablers?
I would like to augment this policy. I would like to augment this policy a little bit. Be able to deny entry to people who are going to shoot up drugs in your bathroom, but also kick out the grad student working on his 10th rewrite of his screenplay. It's not happening. It's not happening.
So true. Get out. Like, I want to sit there for 5 minutes when I go into these stores, not Starbucks. But yeah, they sit there all day. It's like, get a damn office space for the love of God, or work in your mother's basement. But Howard Schultz and George Soros both made the same mistake. They looked around at their beautiful, well-heeled neighborhoods and they were like, yes, let's do something to help, but they don't have to live with the consequences of their decisions. And so I'm going to guess that a fair amount of the baristas who take a job at Starbucks are pretty woke and pretty left. And even they, having to live it on the front line, said, this is insane. And honestly, having lived in New York City for the past 17 years, I walked many times by homeless people who were obviously dangerous. And my kids, you'd hold their hands a little tighter, you'd walk a little faster, you'd say, don't make eye contact, because they'd be yelling like, motherfucker, blah, 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 like at your kid, like, I'm going to get you. You're like, just walk. And now they're going to bring it to the Starbucks, and my little kid's going to have to use the restroom, and I'm going to have to say, just step over that man and his needle. And you don't know what's going to happen. These guys are strung out on drugs, not every one of them, but fair enough. One guy chased us through the park, chased us, and we were running. It's like, you don't know what you're welcoming in. Okay. So you can be in your ivory tower saying how kind and, compassionate this is going to be all you want. It's not kind and compassionate to my then 5-year-old who got the daylight scared out of him, where he had to run. He had to run because some homeless person had been allowed into a space he should not have been allowed.
Oh, 100%. Also, there's a real blind spot for mental health with the left. You notice that?
Yep.
It's the one thing they never want to talk about with any of these situations, whether it's homelessness, violence in schools, I mean, you name it. They mental health is just something that they can't grasp.
Well, if they actually tackled mental health, there wouldn't be a left. So I think that's probably the problem.
That could be.
Well, compassion might be one part of it, but I think that there are some people that subscribe to this woke ideology that literally just want to tear our society down. They see something that's working well and they don't want it to work well anymore because they hate America. They literally they want our country to be.
Skincare is super important to me, and it has been for my whole life. In this line of work, I need to keep the face looking fresh and ideally close to the top of its game. It takes sticking to a routine and products that I trust, and that is why I'm happy to tell you today about Genucel. I trust them. Genucel is made from the highest quality ingredients, and it can become a part of your skincare routine too at a price you'll love. Highest quality, but not the highest prices, not by a long shot. At Genucel.com/MK60, you can pick up their most popular package, which is awesome. It's got a whole assortment of their very best products, the ones everybody loves, all collected in one basket at 60% off. One of the products in there right now is called Immediate Effects, and as the name implies, it starts working right away. When you check out at Genucel's website, don't forget to enter the code MK for even more savings and free gifts. Plus, if you're not happy with the results, you're going to get 100% of your money back. That's how confident Genucel is in its products. Don't wait. Start your skincare journey today and see the difference with Genucel. Go to Genucel.com/MK60. That's GENUCEL.com/MK60. Genucel.com/MK60. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.